Yes guys, it's CM FIFA here. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Game Week predictions for the Premier League. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but it is back. Game Week predictions is back and it's better than it has ever been before with extra editing and graphics in there. It's going to be great, alright? So basically what's going to happen is every time I go into a game or start to predict a game, a little graphic will come up showing the two teams' badges and then their last 5 games, so their results their last 5 games, and then at the top there will be their position in the league, so you know that you're aware of where they are on the table, how they're getting on. There will also be, once I've predicted the game, a little graphic showing the score that I have predicted for that game, and then the date of the game, where it's being played as well. It's going to be looking really cool, so that's what's going to be happening. I hope you guys like it, and when I talk about a player as well, the picture will be coming up on the screen of that player as well. So I really do hope you guys like this. I think it's really cool. So anyways guys, before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the predictions. Okay, so the first game is Everton against Tottenham. It's 18th against 4th. And this should be a very interesting game, even though they are very far apart on the table. Obviously, Everton, with that points deduction, has brought them down the league a little bit. I can't lie, I feel like a lot of people want Everton to go down. I, admittedly, am on that same boat as well. But, you know, Everton coming back from a 0-0 draw against Fulham, very boring game, very pointless, rubbish game. Tottenham beating Brentford last time out as well by 3-2. So, I mean, both sides will... Spurs will have the better momentum going into this game. But I do see this being a tight game. Everton do like to make games tight on occasions. So, I mean, Everton don't do well against Spurs. The winners in the last 10 against them. They've also failed to score in their last 3 Premier League games. Tottenham have also scored in their last 34 Premier League games, which is absolutely crazy. Richarlison is in really good form for Tottenham at the minute. 7 goals in 7 games for him in the Premier League, in brilliant form. But I see Everton nicking a point out of this, you know. I feel like this is going to be a 1-1 draw. That's my prediction. But yeah, that's my prediction. 1-1 draw for Everton versus Tottenham. So in the next game, the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs is Brighton versus Crystal Palace, not the M23 derby. It is 9th against 14th, Palace mid-table as they always are. We obviously coming off the back of a 4-0 drubbing at Kenilworth Road against Luton. Absolutely ridiculous over there. Palace sneaking past Sheffield United, 3-2. Obviously it's a derby game, well it's a rivalry really. I feel like we can win this game. Crystal Palace failed to score in any of the last 5 Premier League games against Brighton. Against us ever since February 2021 when they won 2-1 with a last-minute goal from Benteke. That was not fun. Let's just say that was not fun. I do remember that game. We're unbeaten in our last 9 home league games as well, which is really impressive, although we have drawn a lot of them. West Ham were the last team to beat us at the Amex. Which was like right at the start of the season, 3rd game of the season I think it was now, so we're doing well at home. Although what might seem a surprising stat to you all is we haven't actually scored a Premier League goal in 2024 yet. We didn't score a single Premier League goal in January, 2-0 draws, and then obviously the Luton game was in there as well. One key player I would like to look out for this one, it's not actually a Brighton player, it's a Palace player. Michael Elise has been directly involved in the last 5 Premier League appearances with 5 goals and 3 assists, so he is a very good player. Eze as well is another player to look out for. But I think we'll get the win here. We'll bounce back from the drubbing on Tuesday night and get a 2-1 win over our greatest rivals, Crystal Palace. So that is my prediction for that one. Right, so the second of the 3 o'clock kickoffs is Burnley versus Fulham, 19th against 13th. Burnley obviously struggling down at the bottom, just lost 3-1 to Man City last time out, although doesn't everyone? It was at the Etihad as well, so that they can get away with that one. Fulham, obviously, as I mentioned, coming off the back of a 0-0 draw against Everton, a dead game, and I just don't see this one being a very exciting game either, to be honest. I'll give out some facts just because. So Burnley haven't lost their home league game to Fulham since April 1951, so based on that, the odds might be on Burnley's side. Fulham have lost 6 of the last 8 Premier League away games against promoted sides, and 5 of the last 7 against Burnley as well, so maybe the odds are also stacked even more against Burnley with that stat as well. Although only 4 points collected at home for Burnley this season. That battering against Sheffield United was one of them, and a draw against Luton. And Fulham winless in the last 10 Premier League away games as well. So I feel like maybe I could have gone with a Burnley win here, but I just don't see this being a very exciting game. The 0-0s are starting to creep in now, and I just feel like this is going to be another ball draw, 0-0. Nothing's going to happen in this one. This is going to be one of those that is just going to be forgotten about very quickly. And yeah, we'll just move on, shall we? Because this game is dead, quite frankly. So the final of the 3 o'clock kickoffs is Newcastle United against Luton Town, who obviously just battered my boys 4-0 at Kenilworth Road. I will give credit to them though, brilliant win for them. Newcastle just beating Aston Villa away from home, and not many teams do that recently, especially with Unai Emery in charge, so that was a very good result for Newcastle. They needed that. They certainly needed that. So it's 8th against 17th for today's matchup. But 17th really doesn't represent how Luton have played this season. They have been excellent. They've been so unlucky in some of their games. I actually reckon they can actually put up a decent fight going away to Newcastle. But obviously Newcastle, very difficult place to go. Newcastle have lost their last 2 at home. St James's Park is still a very tricky place to go, and this won't be an easy game for Newcastle, certainly. So this is the first game played between Newcastle and Luton at St James's Park since 1992, which obviously makes sense because Luton haven't been in the top flight for a very long time now. It's obviously their first season back. Newcastle do well against promoted sides. They've only lost 1 of the last 7 against promoted sides. As I said, the other have obviously lost the last 2 Premier League games, but that winning against Villa will surely get their confidence up massively. Luton have been in good form recently. They've won 3 of the last 5 games, obviously one of them the game against us. But I think I've picked 2 key players for this game. Anthony Gordon has scored 7 goals in his last 7 Premier League home games for Newcastle. He's starting to get in the groove now in a Newcastle shirt. And Elijah Adebayo has scored a hat-trick, obviously, against us last time out at Kenilworth Road. He's got 6 goals in his last 7 Premier League appearances, so he is certainly on form. So 2 players to look out for there. So my final prediction, I do see this being a tight game, but I just feel Newcastle will just be too much for Luton, especially at St James's Park. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory for Eddie Howe's side. So that's the final of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Moving on. So the late kickoff on the Saturday is Sheffield United against Aston Villa at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 20th against Aston Villa in 5th. I can't lie, I do only see one result here. I also know Aston Villa dropped points against Sheffield United at Villa Park. It was a 1-1 draw, late equaliser from Zaniolo. But I feel like this time around Villa will learn something from that game. And I do feel like they are going to do something different in this one. They've lost just 2 games out of the last 11 against Sheffield United. But they have picked up just 5 points in their last 5 Premier League games, which is not like them at all. They need to pick up a little bit of form. But they are going up against the Sheffield United side, who do have the leakiest defence in the league, with 54 goals conceded, just 1 clean sheet all season. That was against Brentford. So I do think this will be a win for Villa. I just feel like they would have learned something from the previous time they played them, which was a draw. And I feel like they're going to win this comfortably, 2-0. And yeah, they're going to get an important win. So moving on to Sunday's games. The first of those is Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest, 12th against 16th. I see this being a close game, certainly. Bournemouth haven't won their last 3 in the league. Obviously against 3 decent sides. I mean, Tottenham, they lost, but Liverpool, they got battered, and then they drew to West Ham last night. So I do see this being a tight game. But, Bournemouth do well against Forest, unbeaten the last 7 league games against them. Forest have lost 8 of their last 11 Premier League games, so they're looking to pick up some form. I don't think he'll be here, but they do need to start picking it up if they are to stay up in this league. Obviously, Solanke scored a hat-trick against Forest in the reverse fixture at the City Grounds, so he will be raring to go, I'm sure, in this one, especially at the Vitality Stadium. The key player I picked out for this one is Chris Wood. He's been really firing recently. He's got 4 goals in his last 3 Premier League away games, which is really impressive for a man like him. So he's definitely a player to look out for. But I feel like Bournemouth at home, Forest poor on the road overall. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Cherries win. I reckon Solanke will score because he always does pretty much when Bournemouth win. And yeah, 2-1 to Bournemouth. So the second of the 2 o'clock kickoffs on Sunday is Chelsea versus Wolves, 10th against 11th. A mid-table matchup. Who thought we'd be saying that? So Chelsea are unbeaten in the last 10 home league games against Wolves, so they do well against Wolves at Stamford Bridge. Won their last 4 Premier League home games as well, so Chelsea will definitely be extremely confident going into this game. Although the player I would like to pick out is another Chelsea player. Pedro Neto has been involved in his last 7 Premier League away games with 2 goals and 5 assists. So he's in good form. He'll be raring to go, I'm sure. But I just don't think he'll be able to make an impact here. I feel like it's going to be a 5th consecutive home win for Chelsea. It's going to be 2-0 to the Blues. Another important win for Pochettino's team after they got smashed at Anfield. And Wolves losing last night in an absolute classic 4-3 against Man United. They'll be down and out. I only see one result here. 2-0 to Chelsea. So the final of the 2 o'clock kickoffs on Sunday is Manchester United against West Ham United. And I see this being another tight game again. Like, they're in similar places in the table. West Ham just above United at the minute. They could go further ahead of them with a win. I'll also get into my prediction in a minute and what I think is going to happen. But United have beaten the last 15 Premier League home games against West Ham, so they do well in the league at Old Trafford against the Hammers. That's 3 games in the league between United and West Ham at Old Trafford have finished 1-0 to Man United, so maybe we could see that again, who knows. The key player I'd like to pick out for this one is pretty obvious, I feel. It's Jarrod Bowen. Feels pretty obvious. He's got 7 Premier League away goals this season, which is really good. He is such a good player. He really impresses me every time I watch him. Will he have an impact on this game? Who knows? Maybe. I reckon he could, you know. But on with my prediction. I feel like Manchester United are going to sneak this game 2-1. I do feel that Jarrod Bowen will have a say. I feel like he'll score. But I feel like Manchester United, after that crazy classic win against Wolves, I feel like they'll be up for this, and they're going to win at Old Trafford. Not convincingly, they never do it convincingly at Old Trafford, but they will win by 2-1. And yeah, an important win for Erik ten Hag. So, on with the biggest game of the weekend. It is Arsenal versus Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium. It's 3rd against 1st in the league, and this is, as I said, the biggest game of the weekend. Liverpool won their last 4 Premier League away games, and you know, when Arsenal and Liverpool meet, it's usually tight, it's usually tense, it's usually entertaining, and I just don't see any different here. Liverpool see 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They're going to want to win this. Manchester City in 2nd behind them with a game in hand. So they're going to want to extend their lead over Manchester City for the time being until they play on Monday night against Brentford. And I think they're going to do it. Liverpool are going to blow Arsenal away here. They're going to win 3-1. Jota's going to get on the score sheet. He's been flying recently. But I still think Liverpool will win this game 3-1. Jota will get on the score sheet. It's going to be limbs in the away end. And it's going to be brilliant. So the final game I'm going to predict is on Monday night. Brentford versus Manchester City. It is 15th against 2nd Man City could close the gap to Liverpool depending on their result away at Arsenal. So this is an important game for City, certainly. Although Brentford last season did beat Man City twice, away and at home on the last game of the season. So, you know, this definitely won't be easy for Manchester City, despite Brentford's recent form. Certainly isn't the greatest. They do struggle to keep clean sheets. Their only one, I think, was against Burnley, I think at home, 3-0. But I'd like to pick out Erling Haaland as the key player. He's back fit, and he scored against 20 of the 21 sides that he's faced. Who's the exception? Brentford, Man City's opponents today. So will Haaland get on the score sheet? He is back fit. Let's see if he can do it. Obviously, this won't be an easy game for Man City, as I've said, but I do think they will sneak this game 1-0. It's going to be tight, cagey. Brentford will play well. They'll try and see if they can get something else of this, but I just think Man City, with De Bruyne and Haaland both back fit, they will just sneak this game 1-0. But Brentford will put up a good fight, I think. So there you go. I'll do it. That is my Game Week 23 predictions. Let me know what you guys think down below. Give your predictions as well, if you so please. But if you enjoyed today's video, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.